My wedding day was meant to be the most joyful chapter of my life. Every detail had been carefully arranged. The white roses lining the aisle, the hum of music, the gentle buzz of arriving guests. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my tie with shaking hands, trying to keep calm as I waited to see Clara walk toward me. We had been together for 4 years, through ups and downs, shared dreams, and built a life side by side. Never in my wildest thoughts did I imagine it would all come crashing down that very day. A few weeks before the ceremony, Clara brought up something that didn't sit right with me. She wanted to invite her ex-boyfriend, Drew. She insisted they were just friends and had stayed in touch over years. Though it surprised me, I told myself to be the bigger person. I didn't love the idea, but I trusted her. She said I had nothing to worry about, and I believed her. When the wedding finally came, Drew arrived wearing a sleek suit and a smug expression. There was something off about the way Clara hugged him. Too close, too long. My gut twisted, but I chalked it up to nerves and tried to stay focused on the ceremony. When she walked down the aisle, she was stunning. All eyes were on her, and for a moment, every doubt vanished. She held my hand at the altar, beaming at me with that familiar smile, the one I fell in love with. I looked into her eyes and thought, this is the beginning of forever. But that illusion shattered at the reception. When Clara stood up to give her speech, I expected something sweet and loving. Instead, she began by reflecting on the people who had impacted her life. And then came the words that left me frozen. And to Drew, my first love, the love of my life, thank you for being here today. The room fell still. Nervous laughter bubbled up from a few guests, assuming it was a joke. But I saw her face. There was no joke in her expression. She meant it. She didn't backtrack, didn't even look at me as she smiled at him and raised her glass. Drew, with that same smug grin, lifted his in return. My hands trembled. I stood up, quiet and calm, and walked out. I didn't yell. I didn't cause a scene. I simply stepped away from the woman who had just made it clear that I wasn't the one she truly loved. Outside, the cool breeze slapped me back to reality. I sat down on a bench near the garden and tried to gather my thoughts. Minutes later, I heard the sharp clicks of her heels behind me. "What are you doing out here?" she asked, irritated. Not apologetic, not ashamed, just annoyed. "You're overreacting," she added, as if calling another man the love of her life in front of everyone was a minor slip. I looked at her and asked, "Do you still love him?" She paused. That silence was more painful than any answer. "It's complicated," she finally said. I stood up slowly, nodding to myself. My heart was heavy, but something inside me had already shifted. I told her I wasn't going back in, that the wedding was over. Her expression changed, from annoyance to disbelief to panic. "You're really ending everything over one sentence?" I looked her in the eyes and replied, "It wasn't just a sentence. It was the truth you couldn't hide anymore." Then I walked to my car and drove off. I didn't know where I was going, just that I couldn't stay. I couldn't build a life with someone who still carried someone else in their heart. Calls and messages poured in that night, and for days after. I didn't answer any of them. Not then. Not ever again. In the weeks that followed, people had their opinions. Some said I was impulsive. Others understood completely. But none of it mattered. What mattered was a quiet peace I felt every morning, knowing I chose self-respect over false promises. I ended the lease on the apartment we were about to move into. I started over, brick by brick, without her. I heard Drew left town not long after. Whatever she thought they had, apparently he didn't feel the same. Life has a strange way of revealing truths. Months later, Clara reached out. We met at a cafe. She looked different, tired, subdued. She told me she missed me, that she made a mistake. I listened. Then I said something I had come to believe deeply. Love isn't just about shared history or passion. It's about loyalty and respect. And she lost both the day she chose someone else in front of me. I wish her the best and walked away once again, lighter this time. Walking away from the altar felt like walking into heartbreak. But looking back, it was the first step toward a future where I'll be with someone who chooses me fully, not just in front of a crowd, but in every quiet, sacred moment.